So right now, it gives me the great privilege of being able to share my CEO reports. And I consider it a privilege because really what I'm able to do is just share with you the outcomes of work that has been done by our fantastic team and the teams of people who work with us that have enabled us to achieve all of this. And so it's with that that I'll be able to present my report. As I say, a big thank you to Isaac, though, for his wise counsel and leadership over all the years, for his collaborative style within which he leads the board of trustees and also guides us as a team. So thank you, Isaac, for your words. And right now we're going to focus on the report. So in my report, I want to just highlight what has happened in terms of our achievements during FY 2024. This is the period from March 2023 to February 2024. Important for you to know that. There were a number of amazing achievements, the key ones being our participant reach, as Isaac mentioned. But I'd also like to then highlight what that means for our ICPR outcomes. That's the Independent Competent Persons Report, what that means for us. I want to touch on where we are with our campaign of celebrating 10 years of infinite impact. Then I'll just speak a little bit about some of the strategic highlights of our different programs. I wish to share with you some of our future plans and our focus for the next while. And then I want to take a moment to acknowledge and thank our implementing partners, our program partners and collaborators, as well as our funders, because none of this would be possible without them and their commitment to us. And also I want to start off by saying a big thank you to God, because as we focus on all of our achievements, we know that all of that is by His grace, and we've been very, very blessed over this past year. So with that, I'd like us to move on to the first milestone, which is our program reach as well as compliance. So I just love this slide because it's a picture that says 1,000 words or tells 1,000 stories. On the left-hand side, you will see our map where we have kept track since inception of how many people we have reached. You will see that by the end of February 2024, our database indicated that we had reached 117,295 people in person or through personal interactive engagements, one-on-one with individuals. So whether those be through workshops or webinars or WhatsApp for Business journeys, those are the stats that are included in there, and they are generally deep interactive engagements, not just once-off engagements, and they are also followed by reinforcement methodologies to ensure that when we engage with any individual, our minimum impact assessment is, did we achieve knowledge transfer? Did we change attitudes? And then depending on the type of program that we've run, have we been able to encourage a change of behavior, and particularly a sustained change of behavior? So the number, we're very proud of having, through our different methodologies, being able to exceed the 100,000 mark. On the right-hand side, you'll see the map that pertains to the period 2024. In that period, again, we've gone across the provinces with all our different programs. The color bars represents the different programs that we run, and you'll hear more about each of those programs later on. But I think of significance is that by the end of February this year, we had reached 34,385 people with our different programs. But if you look at the table below, you'll see that that was double what we had reached the year before. And so, as Isaac mentioned, we've been in operation now for nearly 12 years. And in that time, each year, as our funding has increased, we've been able to grow and scale and reach more people. And I've just been so appreciative of the pace with which we've been able to do that, because it has enabled us to refine our programs, but also able to reach more each year. And so I think what's really important is that we keep the database. We have the database. And sorry, if you could just go back there, Andrew. I think what the table below is highlighting is that despite having doubled the reach, we were still able to exceed the minimum requirements that we have in terms of our compliance responsibilities, in terms of the broad-based ownership scheme, but also in terms of the financial sector code, which requires us to reach more than 85% Black South Africans. As you can see, we were still at 96%. In terms of Black females, we have to reach at least 40% Black females. In our case, we've exceeded that as well. We continue to focus on Black youth as a designated group, with 45% reached last year, and as well as extending our reach into rural areas, which I've really enjoyed, because as I've gone to visit our different program sites, I've also seen the rest of South Africa and traveling across many different provinces. So that's been a really interesting experience as well, but also a very something that needs to be acknowledged from our implementing teams who are prepared to go far and wide for the sake of financial education and empowering people through financial education. So in terms of compliance, if I can continue on that, you'll see our governance structure. This is our board of trustees on the right-hand side. We've been very privileged to be able to have the same trustees for a number of years now. That enables us to have consistent thinking, but also to plan strategically with mindsets that not only represent one sector. Our board of trustees are diverse. They are individuals who come from national government, but they're also from private sector, from the ASISA industry base, also from community representation, also those having worked with organized labor. And then we also have specialists in the field of consumer financial education. So we have an amazing team of dedicated trustees. They represent all of the beneficiaries. They ensure that we stay focused and committed to our mandate, which is to do consumer financial education in ways that achieve significant impact in the lives of those who have participated in our programs. So we meet all of our governance criteria in terms of the broad-based ownership scheme. We are able, therefore, to give our funders comfort that they are able to claim their BE points through the different programs that we run. You'll see in the center, we've got our different programs. We also work quite closely with the CSIS Consumer Financial Education Standing Committee, where we share our learnings and they share with us, so that we are always able to run programs that are relevant, but also powerful and impactful, and using the best methodologies that's available. And then that was our reach below. Thank you. So our report our report from our independent competent persons for the 2024 year confirmed that once again we meet all the criteria in that regard. This is an interesting slide in that it highlights the extent to which we not only engage directly in person with individuals through those workshops, but as I mentioned, we use multiple platforms to reinforce our lessons. And you'll see that we are experiencing a steady growth through our different platforms, into our different programs, but also as a CSIS Foundation as we become more known in the environment. So we are present on Facebook, on websites. We have a number of LinkedIn articles. It's based on research and our experiences that we choose to share with others in the ecosystem of consumer education. And then we also distribute a number of newsletters, keeping our stakeholders informed of what we've been doing. So moving on then, as I said, one of our other highlights was in August of 2023, we launched this campaign to celebrate 10 years of Infinite Impact. We had an amazing event. Last year, we had a praise singer who created a poem that just encapsulates so amazingly what we do and what we represent. But that event really elevated, I believe, our profile in the marketplace. We have a lot more stakeholders conscious of who we are and what we've been able to achieve, not because of us, but because of the impact stories that we were able to share through that event and through the different elements that we've developed. So for instance, we've got a microsite with all the details about our 10 years, but we've also developed a booklet which encapsulates how it is possible for us to claim that we have infinite impact, what has enabled all of that. As a result of that event, we have and based on the feedback we've received, it's confirmed that we should continue doing what we do. And so we went into a process this past year of strategizing for how would we scale our business in the next 3, 5 to 10 years? What would be required? And so there's now quite a big focus on us needing to get more funding and to be able to enable us to achieve the scale that we are looking to do. But even before we can do that, we need to strengthen, make sure that we are standing strong with teams that are able to deliver and processes and programs that are able to scale effectively. We also developed thought leadership papers, which we are in the process of having formulated, which we will then be able to share into the ecosystem. But even before that, we've now been called on to participate in more forums where we are able to share our experiences as an organization and how to be effective with the programs that we run. And all of this, we're trying has resulted in us focusing on upgrading our website so that more and more people can have access to what we do, see what we do, and also just be a lot more aware of us. So we hope that you will visit our website. In fact, that just reminds me to say, if you want to see our minutes or anything about this AGM, it will be on our website, but we also have an overview document of the year 2023/24 that is on our website. If you look under publications, you'll get a lot more detail about what we will be sharing with you today. In terms of program highlights, you will hear from our managers a bit later, specifically around each of those programs. But part of our strategy to scale was to say which programs are strong and are already scaling, and that was WageWise, Retirement Fund Trust Education, as well as Flame. We have strong partners, both implementing partners, but also partners that enable us to reach more beneficiaries. And it was so timely that we have made those decisions to scale and got ourselves ready, because this year, as you all know, the two-pot system came into being, and so we were well positioned to be able to provide targeted and customized information through our WageWise and RFTE programs to address the two-pot system and the information that's so critical for our beneficiaries. Our Flame and Biz programs under our Plus Earn, it's all about helping micro business owners to be able to generate sustainable income. We believe through this program, we are contributing to the development of the informal, the township economy, and more importantly, addressing unemployment, which we know is a critical issue in our country. And then through our Build Up program, we have some great strategic partnerships where we reach people across the country through the housing cooperatives, through the Cooperative Banking Development Agency, as well as through the Agri Co-ops, and WWFSA was a key enabler for us during this past year. In terms of future plans, as I've mentioned, we continue to focus now on leveraging our strengths, which programs to scale with which partners first. So that's a big focus. We're strengthening our structures, our people, our processes, our systems, and making sure that we're using appropriate tools. We are engaging in thought leadership, but most importantly, we're needing to focus on sourcing sustainable funding. All our funding comes from members of a CISA or people broadly within the financial services sector, as well as government entities who share this common objective of wanting to improve the well-being of South Africans. And so we're needing to focus on, in a big way, making sure that we enter into relationships with partners who will enable us to plan for multi-years, not just on an annual basis, to be able to achieve that scale. And at the same time, we want to make sure that we remain aligned with ASISA, the founder of the foundation, in terms of their role of supporting national strategic priorities, making sure we are aligned with the National Development Plan and the key priorities through those, as well as the Sustainable Development Goals. We actually contribute to 9 different goals, but at our core, we focus on quality education, reducing inequalities in our country, and then facilitating partnerships for the goals and having strong databases that enable us to report back. And so as I move on to concluding, I just want to acknowledge the Assisa Foundation team. We're pretty much the same team that we've been for a number of years now, but in light of our plans to scale, we appointed 2 new younger people to come in and support our program managers. That's Yavela and Lorata down at the bottom of the screen. But this is an amazing team. Their strength lies in their ability to manage many other teams, our implementing teams and partners, to keep them energized, focused, and passionate about all this one goal of improving the well-being of South Africans through strengthening their financial capability. So a big thank you to the team, a shout out to you guys. Thank you for everything. They really are amazing. But then I want to thank all of our partners as well who have enabled us to reach our various beneficiaries across the country. They are all national entities that either through their funding or through their existence and or their expertise come alongside of us and enable us to reach the 30-odd thousand that we've done across the country. You will notice some of the logos in the report backs from our program managers. And finally, we also want to thank the implementing partners. I can't mention each of your names, but they have worked with us for a long time, both in implementing the programs or in doing the monitoring and evaluation of the programs. We were excited to take DNA Economics and welcome them into our team this past year. But yeah, I wish I could acknowledge each one of you. You all know who you are, and we exist and we achieve what we do because of your commitment to us and to sharing in our passion with what we do. So a big thank you to you. And then finally, I want to acknowledge all our funders. Without this funding, we would not be able to deliver anything. This year, we are trying to acknowledge those funders who annually, this is just in the past year, have made significant contributions, because through their significant contributions, we can commit to a program, move ahead with it, and run with it. And so we really want to acknowledge Sanlam, who's a big driver for our WageWise program, but also 91, who supports multiple programs, as well as all the others that are listed there. You will see that their logos will appear on certain programs, not because they were the only funders, because we pool our funding from all our different funders, but because they were the greatest enablers to making that program happen. And you will see on the next slide that we have many funders. We had 66 funders last year. These are all below $1 million, but every cent counts. And each one of you had to make a decision to contribute to the foundation. It's an annual decision. We are truly indebted and appreciative. Your contribution has made it possible for us to reach all of those beneficiaries across the year. So this just demonstrates what we're going to talk about, demonstrates the power of pooled resources. And I need all of you to acknowledge and know that you are acknowledged and that we appreciate you very much.